You okay, Deb?
Yeah, fine.
Let's make sure I got my Lacoste show in.
I'm sure I've got my Primark showing.
We've been shopping today,
I know.
and a number of incidents happened before we actually get to the reason why. Well, you went shopping for different things. I sort of tagged along for something else. But the first thing that happened to me, I trod in something on the pavement and I felt the squish. And if I'm honest, I thought it was dog poo. I thought it was very sloppy dog poo. And I looked down on my foot to see what it was, and it wasn't. I think it's probably something worse.
It was definitely
And it was.
a squashed rat.
It was a dead rat. Not just a dead one.
It was squashed.
But it was squished on the pavement, and I trod in the entrails and everything. Since I've been back home, I've washed my Converses and dealt with them in the same way that, you know, when you have something on your hand and it's really horrible, and you wash your hands about 10 times
And hand sanitizer.
and
about 10
sanitize
times.
it as well, and you just don't want to touch food.
No.
And you put your hand in a bag to pick something up because you don't want to touch the food that you're eating or whatever it is. Well, I've been a bit like that. So that was that. Well, I thought that was bad, but I think it didn't get worse, did it? In some ways. But the next thing is, I was in a charity. All these happen in charity shops.
Yeah, I do.
Well, one of them didn't. Two happened in charity shops. So I went into a charity shop. You went off, didn't you? And then you said, I'll meet you there in a couple of minutes. So I'm actually looking for records, and they've got a box of records on the floor. So I'm crouched down, ground level, and I'm messing with these records. And you actually got, as you've got on now, you can't see on the camera, but you've got black jeans on. And while I'm crouching down, a woman come and stood next to me. And because I'm crouching down, I looked across, because you did say to me, I'll meet you in the shop when I've finished. So if she just stood there, I thought she was standing there looking at me, but I think she was looking at something else. But it looked like she was standing right next to me. I thought it was you. And I almost said to her, are you ready to go home now? Or would you like to come home with me, or something like that, you know? As I would say to you, should we go home now? That's it, isn't it? And I'm glad I didn't, because I did actually then look look up, and it wasn't you. So that was a potential one that perhaps we avoided. But then the second one, what was the second one now?
Bag.
The bag. Well, we were together then, weren't we? We went into a charity shop, and you've got some books because you like to do crafts. So you like to buy those colourful children's books, cut the bits out and stick them on. Looks very effective, by the way. It's really good. But there was a lady in the queue in front of us. She was paying with 5p's, wasn't she? She got a big pile
One
of...
at a time.
one at a time, counting everything out. So she's only buying one item, but she was there a long time.
There a while.
So we were waiting a while. It wasn't a problem. But while we were there on the counter, there were quite a few things weren't they, dotted around. And I saw this bag. On the counter. And it was the word, because there was some writing on the bag. And I was looking at the words on the bag, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that's a designer bag. I hadn't particularly heard of the name before. I can't remember what it is, but I thought, I wonder if that's a designer bag. Oh, I'll just have a look while I'm waiting. So I picked the bag up, started to have a look at it, and I realised it was the woman's handbag.
We didn't realise till she picked it up.
Didn't realise until she picked it up afterwards. So I'm having a look through it thinking, oh, it's got things in. It's for sale, and there's obviously things come with it. And then I said to her, I'm ever so sorry. I don't think she noticed, did she?
No.
I could have
I
stolen
don't know whether
purse.
she spoke good English.
No, I think that's a
She
good
didn't
point.
answer you.
Yeah, I think
heard
that's
her
a good.
talking.
Yeah, I think that's a good
She
point.
was foreign.
I think that's a good point actually, because when I said to her, I'm sorry, I've been looking at your bag, and I explained why,
She didn't laugh.
she didn't really laugh, but she didn't really answer properly,
No,
did she?
No.
Good point. But anyway, I was messing in this woman's handbag to think, oh, this is
Contact you anyway.
got some things in here. And then the third one, fourth one really, if you include the rat. Oh, don't mention the rat. That was horrible, that was. The fourth one, we went into, is it Home Bargains? Went into Home Bargains, and we're walking in next to each other, aren't we? Just went walking in the door, and there's my hands hanging down, my left hand. I felt something on my hand, and I looked down, see what it was, and a toddler had come walking into the shop, grabbed my hand, and started walking with me. And unfortunately, in that split second, before I even realised what was going on, his mom come in after him and started to smile. So she saw it, didn't she? She did see what was going on.
she laughed,
The child just saw me and ran up to me and grabbed my hand.
fortunately.
And she laughed and she was fine. There was no problems. But I did say to her, I didn't instigate this.
We were abducting him.
I didn't instigate this. I think in this day and age especially. I do see the funny side of it, of course, but I was covering myself as well. But I could tell from the mum's reaction that everything was fine. He just ran up and grabbed my hand. I don't know, he might have thought I was his grandfather or someone. And looked like him from the back or whatever. And well, anyway, that was the fourth one. Well, why did we go to Dudley? Well, you did your shopping and your stuff, and why did I go and tag along with you? Right, let's get my glasses on for this, because I think you've got to hand them to me one by one.
One by one.
What did we get? First of all, it was this one, first of all. Diana Ross, It's My House. So that was the first one. And these three all came from the same charity shop. So I think, because there were lots of other records as well, but not Motown or even soul. So I think someone had a collection. Maybe they just donated them, don't listen to them anymore. Or perhaps sometimes people pass away. Because this is my generation. And I don't like to admit it, but people do start to depart this life as they get to my age. You're okay. You're just a couple of years younger than me.
It's the right side. Yeah.
She's okay. She's okay. And then I spotted, as I was flicking through the records there, Farewell, My Summer Love by Michael Jackson. And I can remember, of course, when both of these were released. That was 1979. So I was 17. Oh, you were just in kindergarten then, or in nursery or something like that. Not quite, no. And then 1984, I can remember that one, Farewell, My Summer Love. And I then spotted the Motown, person who owned these wrote on them as well. All of My Life by Diana Ross. That was 1973. I can remember that when that one was released as well. So a long-winded story, but the bottom line is I've now added 3 fantastic singles to my Motown collection. I'll keep a list of them on my website as well. Absolutely fantastic music. You love Motown as well, Deb, and you've got a certain phrase that escapes me at this moment in time that you actually keep referring to it as.
Ear pollution. I don't like it.
Ear pollution.
Yeah.
Well, we don't disagree on many things in life,
We don't like the same music.
but we haven't got the same musical tastes. But when I'm in the car, it's my Spotify. You have to listen to Ear Pollution most of the time. So that's our little story. The rat, the woman who I almost said, shall we go home now? Or whatever it was. The child,
Handbag.
the bag, but the records. Tamla Motown, not Ear Pollution.